Good morning, community. How are you? How are you? How are you? Jenenne Macklin here, transformational speaker, your wealth guide and catalyst. I'll wait a few minutes. I have not been here. I know I have not been well. So sorry I couldn't see you or be with you or hear your read your comments rather. I know it's on Thursday. I'm breathing. I can breathe. So I figure as long as I'm breathing, I'm doing good. I thought it was allergies. So sneezing, sniffing, but no coughing, just sneezing, sniffing. You know, as long as I was blowing my nose and everything was clear, it's like, okay. So I, of course, took to the bed. I immediately went to bed. It's like, lay down, get yourself some rest. Hi, Demetra. Pull it all in and just rest. I looked to see if I could get a COVID test. At least in Pasadena, all our appointment dates are full. And then I'm part of Nextdoor in my community, and a person on there had COVID. And they were teaching us how to, if you begin to feel anything, what you need to do. And they taught us this breathing technique, I guess that they used to do with children with asthma. I didn't have to do it with my son because he did have asthma, where you lay on your stomach and they do something to your back, which helps keep you breathing, and it doesn't allow the virus to go all the way down into your lungs. So I was looking at that and I was doing that. I could do that easily. It was all up here, you know, just all nasal and congested. So, and then she's saying that you're able to take long, deep breaths. And so luckily, of course, I went back to meditating. So I'm up at 5:36 in the morning meditating. That usually gives me those long, deep breaths. So there are some things to do if it seems like you may feel that you potentially have something that you don't know that it warrants a test, but that you may want to do it just to be aware. So the biggest piece, though, it seems like, is your breathing and your breath. I just want to hop on here right quick today because so many things move me in this process. And I put on here last week, I think, that there was a Facebook page for the nurses, healthcare workers, the first responders, to be a secret Santa to them. And I signed up. I just have to get started. I'm looking forward to sending presents and gifts, that there's something at their door, you know, at least once a day for them as a surprise. Sheesh, I came outside without my mask. I actually meant to have it on. Dang it. But today I happened to turn on the TV and there was something called Bridge Under the Bridge. It's a husband and wife couple. Just started a business. So many businesses are popping up because they had people around them who were hungry and didn't have food. So they took food out of their freezer that was extra food, they said, you know, because people have been hoarding on food. Make sure you have enough food. And started to prepare it under a bridge for those who were homeless. And then that grew, and then others came to help them. So they were featured on Good Morning America this morning. That's where I saw them. A woman, her husband, and their 5 children. You know, and the depths of our ability to take care of others and be aware of others is so powerful to me. And it also made me think about, you know, what is the connection that you live with? Hi, Ann Hobbs. What is your connection to that higher power, that higher presence, however you define it? And how do you allow that energy to move through you and impact you or impact your life? And more importantly, impact the decisions that you make, impact the way you live your life. And that ultimately impacts your connection to your heart. I don't know how to do. Okay, these are just sniffles because it's cold out here. I know it's not cold like New York cold. You know, East Coast, even though it's afternoon there for you, I know it's cold. West Coast, we have our cold. I just started sniffing coming out here. But it just made me wonder to ask you. We've spent a lot of time at home, some of us. We spend a lot of time by ourselves. You may be going to work every day, but it's not the same. You're not going in a carpool and you're going by yourself, and there's less people maybe in the office. But the bottom line is we're spending time with ourselves, and I'm just wondering, what are you saying to yourselves? What's the connection that you have on a deeper level? What are the ways that you, I almost want to say traumatize yourself? I put it nicely and say we give ourselves a hard time, but how often do you really listen to the chatter? Because usually the chatter is going on inside of our head. Nobody knows it. Nobody's supervising it unless we're supervising it. So how much love and care do you have for you? How much love and care do you share for yourself, for who you are and how you show up on this planet? And how strong is that connection? What is that connection and how strong is that connection? I was looking at the commercials. I've really been analyzing these commercials lately and what they're saying. And, you know, I saw one where it said, we can't do holidays like we used to, but we can still make it better or bigger. And I thought, oh, okay, so you're trying to tell people, even though they don't have as much money, they still need to do something. Then I heard another one, and it was pretty much saying they're backhanded kind of commercials. You know, oh yes, this is going on, but do this, this, and this. And I realized we have to define for ourselves what these holidays are going to look like and what they're going to mean. For so many years, because we live in a capitalist country, it's all about the economy. We have just spent and spent and spent and spent money on the holidays, every single holiday. And they buy people in with their sales, Black Friday sale, Green Friday sale, Purple Friday sale, any kind of sale. Everybody gonna run to the sale. But when we really look at what's valuable to us, what's important to us, what makes a difference for us, what makes our heart sing, what strengthens our connections with those that we love, is it any of the things really that we buy or give people? Does a sweater make them love you more? Does the cash money you may give your mom make you love her more or she loves you more? It's really just a token for whatever may have happened. But how often do we just acknowledge what's being done and not feel like we have to do something in exchange? And I think this year is so poignant for us to really look at how do we express our love. Okay, I think my eyes are okay. How do we let people know that we care about them? It's always been giving, a gift. It may be just a fruit basket, or it may be $100 gift card. It's always giving, give, because we live in a capitalist world. But how do you give your heart? How do you give the forgiveness to yourself and to others? Whoever it is that made you mad, whenever they made you mad, you're still mad at them and don't speak to them. How do we strengthen that connection? So when I look at, you know, people getting on the road, they have to go see their families, and I understand. My 96-year-old godfather had me pick him up at the bus station last night. And I was so trying to get healthy 100% before he came, because I figured a cold could go into something and I could impact him. And I kept trying to figure out, why is he coming? I had been putting him off most of this time. I'm like, okay, Papa, you guys stay put. You can't be traveling. He worked for United Airlines, so he still has some capacity to get plane tickets. I'm like, you cannot get on the plane. I guess he got tired of me saying what he couldn't do. And so my godfather called me. What is today? Today is Wednesday. He called me Sunday to say, I'll be at Amtrak at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. I need you to pick me up. No, baby, is it okay? No, baby, what you guys doing? Nothing. Well, I was in the midst of decorating. I started painting one room and painting another room. I moved everything out the bedrooms into the living room. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But something inside of me let me know that was something he needed to do. 96. You know how many presidents, how many wars, how many, how much he's had to live and deal with on this planet? How could I say no? And my godfather's walking around with an aneurysm in his brain. He's had prostate cancer for I don't know how long. And he's still rolling. So I said it had to be something. So when he got in last night, we finally sat down, and I could hear him clearly because I put him in the back seat, at an angle, because on one of the television shows, they talked about how we should ride in cars. The windows should be down. We really shouldn't be two people in the front anymore. It should be a person in the back. So I did that. He got in the front seat, and I'm like, okay, no, I need you to get in the back seat. He said, oh, you're going to be my chauffeur? I said, yes, Stuff, I'm going to be your chauffeur. So we finally got home and settled, and he's like, what is going on in here? I said, I told you we were changing the house around. But, you know, the rooms are ready. You can get in your bedroom and rest. And you know what he said to me? He said, baby girl, you and I are the same. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, you know, we don't have any immediate family anymore. He's like, all we have left are cousins. And I said, oh. He said, so I wanted to come be with my family. He said he was talking to someone, I guess, about his wills and trust or something like that. And he was like, well, my daughter, this, and this. And she was like, well, is that your biological daughter? He said, her mother and her father have died. She's my daughter. And he said that just shut everything down. So he came to be with his daughter. So I put him in my son's room. My son's with his grandparents. And there we have it. He has cooked for me since I was 15. I never did eat oxtails, I think it was, or neck bones or some of that stuff. Oh my God, he cooked it so well. It would taste so good. It would just fall off the bones. And I would only have it when I'd go and see him. He fixed me black-eyed peas. Oh, he makes this, just bread, muffins from scratch. So, in return, I started cooking the oxtails for him. I started yesterday, seasoned them and let them sit, and then put them on yesterday late evening. Had them on most of the night, back on for today, as a tribute to him, because that's what he's always done for us. And my son just loves his cooking. But it made me just wonder, how are we handling our connections? You know, it's not about what we buy. It's not about, you know, seeing. Although for him it was, and I stopped, because he's been saying he's coming for a long time. I'm like, no, do not get on the plane. No, do not. He's like, well, I'm going to get on the train. I'm like, okay, that might work. Well, sure enough, he took a 13-hour train ride from Sacramento to Pasadena, California, well, Los Angeles to Union Station. He bought a first-class ticket, so he was in his own booth. I guess that's what you call it. Nobody bothered him. He said the food was terrible, and he came on down here. And I realized at 96, he gets to do whatever he wants to do. He's like, I said something to him. He said, well, look at me, I'm still here. And I know he had said early on he was happy to just be here till 95, and that was it. He turned 96 this past August. So it made me think about our heart connection. And what are the ways that we honor our families and love our families? If you didn't buy anything for this Christmas, how would you still let them know you love them? How would you still let them know that you care? What is it that you could do that would potentially shift the way you do what you do already? See, we've gotten so used to America pretty much telling us what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Oh, it's Labor Day, go shop. Oh, it's Valentine's Day, go buy presents. Oh, it's Christmas, go stock up on everything and buy everything. And so, without that capitalist economy wheel kind of turning the way it has, it gives us a time to think for a moment, genuinely express our emotions and feelings to those that we say we love. You know, people are risking getting on planes and flights to see loved ones. Don't know who's going to be on the plane with you. I don't know if everybody's going to be tested or not. But when you can't do that, or you choose not to, how do you strengthen that connection? How do you keep that connection viable? How do you keep that connection rich? And at least for me, it's always been, that's a better picture. Always walking backwards, right? For me, it's always been the conversations about growing up. It's always been those conversations. Remember you did this? They call me Nene. Nene, remember when you did this? I'm like, I don't remember that. Y'all tell me, lie on me. No, you did this, and this. And they always call my mom Aunt Mary. And Aunt Mary, you know, she always come in late. She always looking good, but she always late. So, sure, we didn't need to be buying all the stuff we bought for Christmas anyway. I was watching the commercials. It's amazing. Commercials tell you that men want you to buy them a car. Do you know how much debt that's going to be? You know, commercials tell you that, what did he get a woman? He got himself a truck. Oh, and he got a woman a truck. When you look at them, I just look at them and analyze what they're saying and what the message is. There's no message that says, go inside your heart and forgive. There's no message that says, let go of the disappointments you've had towards yourself over the years. There's no message that says, love yourself for who you are. There's no message that says, criticizing yourself won't serve any good. The messages that you get are spend, buy, give them a gift, and now you've taken care of Christmas. But if there's nothing else we've learned these days, is Christmas is about it. It's more than a gift. Because the gift we have, which is what I was fighting for this week, because I didn't want it to go into anything else, is the gift of a life. That we have life. We can laugh, we can talk, we can share memories, we can tell stories on each other, we can make up things, we can tell each other secrets that we weren't supposed to tell, we can laugh, we can cry, we can embrace. But most importantly, we can forgive. Forgive ourselves for what we keep holding against ourselves, whatever mistakes we think we made, what we think we should have done different, we should have done better. Forgive ourselves for where we let ourselves down. Forgive ourselves. Those who are Christian, you're celebrating Jesus' birthday. I'm sure forgiveness is in there somewhere and part of the plan. So before you rush out or feel bad that you can't buy this, you can't buy that, you know, that's a mindset that America has created and cultivated so very well. So very well. But this year is reminding us that it's more than just what you give. It's about your heart. So I want you to look at that. You know, I'm always telling you, get still, get quiet, turn within, and just ask yourself, where do I need to forgive? Myself, my family, friends, co-workers, whoever you would be holding anything against. Because as best we can, we're going to try and, is that you? Kick 20. That is you. Hey, you. Good morning. I'm good. I forgot my mask, but I think I'm okay. I'm not going to breathe on anybody. Oh, yeah, you got a mask? Isn't it something? Okay, cool, because I don't want to get upset. Okay, see ya. See, you never know. See, I make that much noise with that car. You just never know who might be there for you. But in the meantime, who has been there for you? You know, who's held your hand? Who can you call at 2 o'clock in the morning that gives you the support you want, understands what you're going through? Who's heard your sadness and your disappointment? What about those people? How do we honor them? Of course, her mask would smell all good, so her car smells good. But let this time not just be about the presents, not just about what you can't do and you won't be able to do and couldn't do, but let it be about honoring and recognizing what you do have, what you have been given. You know, the peace, the frustrations. And look inside and look at how well you're loving you. What are the things you say to yourself? How much are you criticizing yourself? How much are you giving yourself a hard time? Because I don't know about for you, but I know I've spent a great deal of time by myself. And then when I wasn't by myself, then with my son, of course. And those are the kind of conversations that I have with myself. I'm looking within to see, how do I begin now to attract something amazing for 2021? How do I begin now to make a deeper connection to that power and presence that really hasn't abandoned us at all in this process? How do I be who I say I want to be on the planet and impact the lives of women to make peace with money? Because I want them to start making room for wealth. We can't get to wealth till we take this money situation and take it to a whole new level and create something amazing. Then we can get to wealth. And just be in that awareness. Don't feel sad if you don't have this, or you can't do that, or couldn't buy this. Oh, that was one of the commercials I heard, was that basically it was saying, well, we have less money, but we still made it happen. I'm like, wow, you are pushing people with less to still try and do it. If you have less, just accept that you have less and create a new way. With all the technology we have, create a new way. And I know you're like, well, I want to hug them. Okay. And then you hug them. After you hug them, then what? Then what? So it's the energy of them. We're wanting our relative, the energy from our family members and our friends. And granted, Zoom isn't the best FaceTime works, but it's at least Zoom and Google Hangout and all those places are places to start. But you know what? The more genuine we are all willing to be during this time, and we know it's going to be tough after the holidays because a lot of people are traveling, and a lot of people will come back positive, and a lot of people will probably be in the hospital, and some people will make their transitions and die because of the choices they made. Where in there can you find your own sense of peace? Where in there can you forgive and let go? So when 2021 arrives, let's see, 2021, 4 and 5 of the year 5, you are ready for something new. How do you fulfill your own dreams and purpose on this planet? Because we still have our purposes on this planet. We still have those things we came here to do. How do you fulfill that? How do you blossom from within out to be a light as we continue? I can't remember if I started this or not, but earlier last week I mentioned to you there's a page on Facebook for the healthcare workers, the first responders, and the nurses. I did mention that. Okay, this morning, oh gosh, I told you about the family bridge under the bridge. They're giving out food under the bridge so that homeless people have something to eat. And it's in Iowa, of all places. I thought, wow, that's interesting. But when I look at that, that's who we are. That's who we really are at the core. Those 72,000 people are concerned about that voted for Trump, that's fine. They get to have their point of view. But that right there, that we take out of our own kitchens to feed others, is who we are. So how do we do that better? Hi, Sherry Green. Thanks for showing up. How do we do that better as this continues? How do we make decisions that aren't just about us? Because America's good, unselfish, and taking care of yourself, and whoever gets to the whatever wins. But how do we now expand this to think about others? So there's another page on Facebook called Bridge Under the Bridge. I don't know if they have a donation dot on there or not, or a place to make a donation. I'm going to look there and I'm going to see if they have a website. To just, if it's $5, think of it as this way. And I know people are like, well, I don't have that much. I don't have that much. These people have nothing. So our $1, $2, $5 combined can make a big difference. So I encourage you to go to either one of those two sites on Facebook. So many of us have been saying, how do we help them? How do we support them? The nurses, the doctors, the firemen, the first responders who've been in the fires. We had crazy fire this year. How do we support them? Well, those are two places. They're legitimate places where you can make donations to help them. But to me, that speaks to what this time is all about for us, to turn within, to ask ourselves the hard questions. What were those goals you had last year, the year before, that you didn't get done? How come you're not getting your goals done? How come you're not achieving what you say you want to achieve for you in your life? What's getting in the way? What are you giving your attention to? See, it's no big deal to people to run up their credit cards for Christmas and be in debt January, February, March, April, and then get it down only to be starting up to be in debt some more. Wow, who wants to live that life? You get a choice on how you want to live it and the quality of your life. And that's what this time is all about, to me, for all of us. Now, granted, we get to define it for ourselves and decide how we want it to look, but that's what it is for me. So I'm excited my Godfather's here. He's here for 7 days. I'm sure I will clean up more than I've ever cleaned up and sanitize more than I ever have, just because. But he's okay. He was good if he made to 95. Now he's made to 96. And like I said, he's had an aneurysm and prostate cancer for years. And he's still going. So I think if he could do that at 96, what could we do in our personal lives? What can we do different? Where can we say no? Yep. Where can we say no more often? Where can we give, but give in ways that are meaningful? Not just, okay, here's some flowers for you. Here's a t-shirt. Here's a turtleneck. Okay, great. And now what? What are those dreams that you have? I've always thought that Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all these light celebrations were powerful. Because they were not only lighting up the rooms and houses, the candles, but there was an opportunity to light up our hearts, to express more joy and more compassion for ourselves before you go out there, because we'll be compassionate with other people, well, for the most part. But when it comes to being compassionate for ourselves, that can be a whole nother story. We want to criticize ourselves. We didn't do this. We should have done that. We didn't lose the weight. You know, it's always something. Can we shut off that chatter Can we be loving to yourself? Because remember, I don't care what your faith is. I don't care what your teaching is. I don't care what the name of your God is. There's only one power. That's one thing we can all agree on. There's one power. There's one presence. Whew. Must be doing a good walk. There's one. And that one governs all of us. That one breathes the breath of all of us. That one does. How do you get closer to that? How do you allow that energy to bubble up inside of you and express through you? How do you allow that energy to propel you to pick up the phone and say, I'm sorry to someone you know you need to say I'm sorry to? Or I love you to someone that you haven't said I loved you to in a long time? Or that I'm thinking about you to someone and you haven't said it to them in a long time? That's what the power and the energy is on this planet. And when I had my spiritual community, I had church for like 15 years. I had this amazing vision that God had given me. I was bringing everybody together though. It wasn't going to be, divided the way all the churches are divided now. And at the end of the year, we'd always have what I'd call a celebration of light. And it was truly that, to bring light and love into our lives and into our hearts. So I want that for you as well during this time. I'll hop on right quick on Friday just to say happy holidays to you. But that was what I wanted to say to you today, because I know I hadn't been on here in a minute. And you wouldn't know I was sick. No one would know to get on my page and say, hey, she's not well. And I'm taking every precaution because I don't want it to become anything else. So I'm on here getting in my morning walk, shorter walk than I usually do. But that's another thing. I know as long as I'm breathing, as long as I have breath, I'm good. And we may get colds. We may have a sinus flare up, but that doesn't mean, it's COVID. That just means take care of yourself, take time, slow down, and love on you. So how is your connection to your heart? Because the greater your connection is to your heart, the greater your connection is to God. The greater your connection is, for those of you, to Jesus or Buddha or Allah. If you're giving yourself a hard time, how's God going to be there for you? How are you going to hear it? So how strong is that connection to you and to your heart? I'm going up a hill, don't worry. That's why I'm huffing and puffing. And I did 5 miles on Sunday. And today is Wednesday, and I haven't done anything since Sunday. And then before Sunday, I hadn't done anything in like 3 or 4 or 5 days. So I still kind of huff and puff going up my heels now. And then going up backwards so I look good to you. Have a great day. Take good care. And just think about that. Any purchases you try to run around and make, just pause for a moment and ask yourself why. Again, am I doing this way? When this is the opportunity to think about doing it with more meaning in a way that impacts you and impacts your heart. Happy holidays to all of you. Anybody here? Hanukkah. Has it been the 8 days? I'm not sure if that celebration has ended or not. Happy Hanukkah. And then we'll go on from there, because we'll have Merry Christmas, we'll have Happy Kwanzaa, and there's always a winter solstice. So the winter solstice is on its way as well. Have a good day. Take good care. Anybody you see that's standing and needs something and you have an extra dollar or extra 50 cents, share it. Because the more you send out into the world, the more will come back to you. That's just a principle, period, of the universe. So, take good care. Just wanted to get on here and say hello. Demetra, where are you? Ann Hobbs, I know that name. Sherry Green, let me know what state you guys are in, how you're doing. We're on the West Coast. It's chilly. I will not complain, because what I see happening in the other places is crazy. But I was truly moved by a young woman and her husband and their kids giving food out of their refrigerator. Here people are hoarding food and hoarding toilet paper, and there's more than enough to go around. And here are people right in front of our face that have nothing. And I thought, wow, that is amazing. They're a lot younger than I am. So, and he started cooking. He put his grill out, took the food out of his refrigerator and started cooking it and giving it to people. So I just figured if I can give a donation to support them in their efforts, why not? And if you can, as opposed to, giving somebody $500 gift or $125 gift, you can send $10 or $20 to somebody who's feeding people who have nothing. That would be wonderful in the universe. I'd say that's going to get you some brownie points in the universe. Take good care. Have a great day. See you Friday. Bye for now.